how do I get... No, maybe it's better I stay here for a while. I should stay here. I'll go back.
Well, eventually you're going to have to go back. You can't stay here forever. But...
No, but right now it's...
Do you have any questions? Now you've met everyone here. Now you've seen them. They've seen you. Do you have any questions?
Fenna looks... She looks at Cat like there's something really troubling her, but she has a hard time saying it.
All right, what is it? Spit it out.
Why do I sniff people?
She actually laughs. Then she holds out her hand, palm up, so you can sniff her.
I think I already did when I was in wolf form.
Oh, good. Well, there you have your answer. You're part wolf. All that means is that the wolf is close to the surface in your case. That's something to be proud of. There are a lot of werewolves in the world today who have almost forgotten that we are in fact werewolves, who are so busy not accepting the fact that part of them is an animal and a predator and a wild beast and a very dangerous one at that. They want to be so in control that they forget the wild. And the wild is the most important thing in the world.
But sniffing people?
Yes, that's part of what a wolf does. You get to know them that way. You can recognize them by their scent. It's a very, very good thing to do. Not many people will, because, oh no, I can't. Oh, what are people going to think of me? Wolves don't give a shit. Neither should you. Walk up to people, grab them by the hair, pull them down towards you and sniff them if that's what you want to do.
I don't.
You, she says and looks at you, Fenna, are an apex predator. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
Fenna's just blushing a lot.
Meanwhile, in the real world,
Yes.
Oh,
she's
yeah.
going completely crazy.
Yeah.
Let's
I wa-
back there.
I want to say, like,
That's too bad.
the cut to the real world is going to be like a close up on two of the ravens sitting perched on one of the branches, just looking at Cat and going, "Rah, what a bitch!" Yes.
No, it's going to be, what a bitch. Yes, literally.
Yeah, and then just ha ha
Oh my goodness me.
Yes.
We are awful.
Yes, you are. Go.
Okay. So Fenna disappears.
Yep.
Yes.
How does it look when Fenna disappears?
Oh, that's a great question.
It looks like she looks into the water, and then she literally fades from you in the time it takes to blink an eye.
He has very big eyes.
Taryn looks into the water, looks at where Fenna stood, looks into the water. She puts two and two together, and then Joseph!
What? Taryn, what happened? Did she fall in the
She
water?
did what I did with Joseph. Joseph!
Joseph comes belting over from. He's been singing with the others.
I think
Polish accent.
Looking into the water.
not to take away from that scene. I just want to say at these exclamations, I'm assuming at least Aaron is going to like look over at the screaming girl, stand up, and walk over to see what's going on.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Connell moves through the fountain, looking
She was as well.
desperately for Fenna.
I think Shiva looks at Connell and goes, "It seems like you know her. What happened?"
How should I know? Fenna!
Ow, my ear, Connell!
Oh, I'm sorry about your ear. I just lost my best friend, but I'm sorry about your ear. Fenna!
Snickering Sneaker comes over with his pretty much the facial expression on the picture, hands in pockets, and goes, "Well, what is the commotion?
Well,
Is there something?
What we did.
What happened?
Fenna's gone.
We did.
Did she leave?
No, that reflective thing you showed when we were there. And she looked into the reflective surface and then poof.
What?
And then she vanished.
Yes.
Interesting.
So I figured it's the same thing because she can't
Yes, absolutely. It is the same thing. She is quite safe there. This is a very safe place. But it is not... Well, it is not fair to leave her in there. She's probably very confused. I'm going to go find her.
All right.
Do you need any help?
What do you mean, help?
Well, wherever
back.
you're going.
Oh, into the spirit world.
Can I come
Shiva just looks at him like, what?
again? And Taryn just goes, can I come again?
You guys have so much to learn. It will be so much fun to teach you.
I want to go
So
again.
wait, we're going to the spirit world now?
And no, I am.
No,
Aw.
I think we're going to have to stay here and hope for the best.
We're not going anywhere, not without a mirror.
He
What?
He winks, points into the water, and then he snickers, funnily enough. And then he
Vanishes.
vanishes.
Wonderful.
Mindset.
And you guys are actually looking straight at him this time, where he literally fades into nothingness right in front of your eyes. And in the Umbra, you then suddenly have company. Yes. Oh my goodness, yes. You have company. As suddenly this slightly disheveled, well, quite disheveled looking fellow is standing by one of the fountains. In fact, the fountain where you just appeared, or just, yeah, well, you just appeared as well, Fenna. Oh, hello.
Hello.
I did not expect to see you here. She looks at him and smiles. Well, you don't really expect to ever see me, do you, Joseph? And he shrugs in a disarming, sort of light-hearted kind of way and says, you know, of all the local werewolves, I am perhaps not exactly your worst enemy. And she nods a little and says, No, you're not. You are not my best ally either. He grins widely and goes, No, I like to be Switzerland. You know, nobody has actually assaulted Switzerland for many, many years. And if they do, they get beaten up because the Swiss are good at it. And she just gives him this very, very tired look. So why are you here, Switzerland? And he just points, a single finger towards Fenna. Well, her friends were quite worried. She suddenly disappeared right in front of them.
What makes a man turn neutral? Lust for gold? Power? Or were you just born with a heart full of neutrality?
No, he just points a finger at Fenna and says, her friends are very worried. She just vanished right in front of them, and now they are wondering if she is all right. Well, Kat says clearly she is. You can go back and tell them. I'll bring her back when she's ready. Unless, of course, she says and looks at Fenna, are you ready now? Do you want to go back to the others? Or do you have more questions?
I don't have any questions. Well, I have a lot of questions, but I can't find them right now.
Fair enough. Well, maybe then it is better if you go back there now. And remember, she says and looks first to Fenna and then much more pointedly to Joseph. I was never here. And Joseph just shrugs slightly, smiles widely, and says, remember, Switzerland.
I like that guy.
Yeah, I love that guy. I'm very happy it was him who found her. It's like, yeah, good.
Yeah,
A better person.
Oh god, good thing I didn't call out to Mary. Holy shit.
Yeah, well, Taryn kind of saw what happened, like, oh, reflect observative, and poof! Alright, must be that.
So Fenna comes back, or...
Well, Jorn was about to say something.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
No, you...
She just she smiles and walks away because obviously it's time for you to go back, and she has done what she came here to do apparently. And Joseph, also known as Snickering Sneaker, holds out a hand towards you. So basically palm up as if you want to take my hand kind of gesture.
Yeah. So Fenna takes his hand. So
she doesn't sniff it.
Well, yeah, she does.
Well, he does have
very sheepishly.
Yeah, well,
he probably stinks.
He doesn't smell too good. He is a bone gnawer. He doesn't smell too good.
Why can I just imagine, that the dog sniffs and then...
Then he grins widely, and then he winks at you and says, "Don't look at reflective surfaces at night, especially not at night. It's probably just going to lead you into trouble until we have taught you. I'll make sure we teach you this as one of the first things." And then you are back with the others, just like that.
What the hell?
Thank goodness.
Thanks,
Fenna just does a tiny wave, like, hi.
It is all right. She is perfectly safe. I found her talking to a feline.
What?
Taryn just lifts a hand. Thanks, Joseph.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. He winks again, does that a lot, and then he walks away.
How did she do that without a mirror?
She will look to
reflective
Fenna.
surface, Aaron.
Fountain.
Oh, Aaron looks at Taryn and is like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Hello. Hi." Because he's been mentioned by name and now he's struggling to remember. He's like, "It was Jones, right? Taryn Jones?"
Yes. She
Hi.
smiles calmly.
Aaron, smiles back, I guess. Yeah, he smiles back.
Well, I think the fountain was enough as a mirror.
Okay.
Oh,
What was it like?
Well,
Yeah.
strange.
So I'm thinking, why don't we start from the very beginning? What the hell just happened?
Yeah.
Jumped into the Umbra,
The
What?
what?
the spirit world.
The what?
The spirit world, Connell.
Oh,
Where the raven came from before.
seriously, Taryn, you're not helping.
I don't know how else to explain it. That's how it was explained to me when I went with Joseph.
There's a spirit world?
Yeah.
That was new to me as well.
Maybe missing the point here. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Nothing happened.
What was it like?
Like I said, strange.
What did it look like? I'm sorry. I don't mean to pry.
Oh, vaguely like this, but full of animals, just minding themselves.
You stand outside of Dublin and looks toward Dublin. It's encased in a beautiful web.
Guess you could make the point that this place is also filled with animals.
Yeah.
Good point.
As you say that, you guys hear a loud, booming, roaring laughter.
Oh god.
And you see Eric walking back across the bridge alone. He doesn't have Cat with him.
Huh. No, because the feline is skulking around in the Umbra.
Yeah, he points to a large tattooed man.
Not Russ.
No, not one of you.
I assume it's fist and liver.
Yeah.
I think what she said was not Russ.
Russ.
Oh, no, not Russ. No, sorry.
Also
No,
a
not
very big tattooed guy.
true. No, it's not. It's definitely not. It's this guy.
Fist and liver.
Yes.
Perfect.
Points towards him and shouts at him, "Hey, Paddy!
Oh god, here we go.
You can't take me one-on-one." And then he does this basically this come hither moment with both his hands, like, yeah, come and get it.
Oh dear.
And the big guy who was standing there happily singing along, they had now moved on to Molly Malone. They were happily singing. He was having a jolly good time. He's holding a beer can in both hands. You see the one in his left hand getting scrunched up into a little ball, one-handed. It was full.
You.
And you see him with the other hand, the one he's got in his other hand, which was mostly empty. He reaches up towards his mouth with the can, and then as he turns around, he becomes this hulking beast of fur and claws and anger, and he tears the can to pieces with his teeth and launches himself through the air towards Eric, who laughs loudly again, and before the impact even strikes him, he too is this enormous creature of fur and flesh and, yeah, Krynos, obviously.
Whoa.
And the violence these two guys launch themselves into is absolutely mind-numbing. It is a grotesque spectacle. Blood flies, literally.
Yeah. What's
Is
the
nobody
crowd
doing
reaction?
anything? Yeah.
At first, everyone seems to take in who is, they're trying to figure out who's winning.
For fuck's sake.
Oh,
You actually spot a couple of people exchanging a couple of euro worth on a bet on who's winning.
Taryn just looks shocked, like, aren't anyone gonna stop this? They're
Yeah.
not each other.
My money's
Fair
on Eric.
well, it would be, wouldn't it?
Which one of them was Eric?
That's the point. I don't know who it is anymore. They're both kind of.
Well,
They're
one of them is grey, and the other one is a reddish brown.
Who became red? Who became brown?
The guy with the beer can became red, and the guy who then got pummeled into got grey.
Yeah, so stereotypically the Irish one turns into a ginger werewolf.
Yeah, but Irish wolves are differently coloured than Scandinavian greys.
So Eric is the grey one, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And Patrick, it has to be, is the red.
Yes. If you'd actually called him Paddy, he might have actually just changed direction and come at you.
Maybe, but I don't know what his really name is.
No, of course not. But
I guess it's Patrick. Because, yeah.
I think Aaron takes a step away from the crowd of his soon-to-be pack, towards anyone else who, one of the people who were here when he arrived.
Yep.
And just asks, like, flat out, having a hard time taking his eyes off the spectacle, but still just, like, demands attention for a moment and says, they're gonna kill each other.
You step up close to a woman with pitch black hair and yellowish eyes. She just turns and looks at you. She's about the same height as you.
Which one would this be?
Theodora.
I figured.
The vampire killer.
Right.
She turns and looks and says, "What was that again?"
They're gonna kill each other.
They might, although I don't think it will get that far.
Who would stop them?
Quite probably themselves. When the first one submits, and it's always the same one. Every time.
Who?
Watch. Learn, puppy. You will see.
So also, why?
Aaron, sorry, Heinrich.
No, please finish. Please.
Aaron's shoulders move up a bit, and like his head down is like doing the. He looks like a human whose back fur would stand up when she calls him puppy. Mm-hmm. It's like this. I'm getting the sense that this is derogatory. Derogatory. Yep. And
she doesn't seem too warm. But she does turn her head back and watch the ongoing bloodshed. And it actually, for a moment, it looks like there might be a decision on the way. The red-furred, or reddish-brown-furred one, Patrick, also known as Fist and Livers, leaps. He manages to leap free of an attack that the grey-furred one launches at him, and he literally bounces off a tree, uses the tree as leverage, flies through the air with an almighty roar, pummels into the chest of the grey-furred Krynos, still standing upright. Again, blood flies, fur flies. The reddish-brown one locks his jaws around the shoulder and neck of the grey one, and is starting to force him down onto the ground and starting to force the grey wolf into a pose where either he gives up or his throat is torn out, and then the grey one reaches up behind himself, extends his claws and sinks them into the cheeks and the jaw of the one biting him, and literally tears his head off his shoulder. He tears the jaw free that's bitten down on his shoulder and neck, and then stands up and delivers a right hook so loud and so powerful that you guys swear he would probably have pounded a car in two if he had hit it with that. And the red-furred werewolf just goes out like a light.
So, three things. First, Heine had something, then Aya has a question, and then I have something.
Yep.
Okay, so when Taliesin first said mentioned the thing about Paddy, making that calling him Paddy would make him change direction toward whoever did so. Connell just turns around to look at Taliesin with this same predatory smile he had when they first arrived at the park. Is that a dare?
To which Taliesin would look back and just his expression would be, I think he'd raise the quizzical eyebrow of neutrality in this matter.
Another one.
Yes, they're infiltrating everywhere. The neutrals are getting everywhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was it? It was Aya.
Would this count as animal cruelty?
No.
Alright.
Yeah. Aaron, sorry, go on, Helen.
Yeah, it's just, before all the ripping off jaws things happen, Fenna takes the distraction of the fighting as an opportunity to very discreetly, sniff. Let's see, what... Aaron, that was your character, right, Daniel?
Yeah.
So, yeah, he walked away, but at least Connell and Taliesin very discreetly. I have 3 dots installed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that's, considering the mayhem going up near the bridge, that is enough.
Mm-hmm.
So you start sniffing.
Oh, wow.
I think that, oh my.
Sniff, 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 sniff.
I think as soon as the fighting's over,
Yeah.
Shiva looks absolutely disgusted, and she marches up to Mary.
Yep.
And says, "I want to go.
Already?
Mm.
Why?
I am not enjoying myself."
Oh, boo-hoo.
Fenna just looks at...
Did it dawn on you that this is not simply about you enjoying yourself? What are you going to do? Go home? Forget this ever happened? Forget what you are? Is that it?
She crosses her arms and for a moment at least stares Mary into the eyes and then she says, "Do I even need to ask permission?"
To leave? You mean well, if you want to walk out there with hundreds of enemies looking to kill you without knowing what the feck you're doing, is that it?
She with the typical teenage contrary look, just stares at Mary for a brief while and goes, and then she just storms off in some direction. It doesn't really matter which one.
Sorry,
No, you wanted to go next, and you've been waiting patiently, so you can go next.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. I just want as the fight ends, I look at Theodora.
Yeah.
And I try to glean if she's like, oh, well, that's different, or if she's like, yep.
She has this, why do they even keep trying, look on her face.
The grey one's Eric, right?
The grey one is Eric, yes.
We don't like Eric?
Nobody likes Eric, except for Cat, but nobody likes Cat.
Why?
Because Cat is dangerous, and because Eric is an asshole.
That's pretty nicely put, yeah.
Aaron looks at her for a moment to see, as if to see if she's taking the piss.
She's not.
Sorry, what? Who are you?
Good grief. I am Strikes from Hiding.
Pleasure to meet you. I'm Stands in Blood.
So I hear. Good for you. That is a good name.
I guess so is Strikes from Hiding.
Very much so, and quite a lot of leeches have found exactly why that is my name.
I've heard that twice tonight. What's a leech and why is it significant? I'm assuming
Leeches.
it's not a leech.
No, it is not the kind of thing you would happen to catch if you walked into one of the ponds here in St. Stephen's Green in summer. It is a bloodsucker, a vampire. Yes.
I do a double take, and again, I want to be convinced she's taking the piss, but she's obviously not.
She takes a tired look at you and turns to face you. Look around you. You are surrounded by more than 20 werewolves. If I were to tell you right now that fairies and vampires and magicians existed, or even ghosts, why would you not believe me?
It's not that I don't believe you. I mean, as you said, why wouldn't I? I just don't get how this relates to me.
Because you are a werewolf. Everything is connected. Everything. You are one of us. Or, she says and looks at you, in your case, you are one of the ones who consistently think they are above the rest of us. Yes, I have heard of you.
What the fuck's that supposed to mean?
It means that Caesar hasn't stopped pissing about you for 2 weeks.
Aaron, I'm trying to get myself to say I look pissed, because that's easy for me. I look like, what the fuck's that on about? What are you saying? And then she mentions Cesar, and that anger is very much still there, but like fear enters his eyes, enters my eyes. And I take an involuntary step back, and I think at this point, would be when Shiva storms off, and Aaron just looks to, God damn it, and I look to Theodora, and I look to her, and I'm like, I'm sorry, have a nice night. And then he walks after her instead. And, you know, yeah, he leaves Theodora and walks after Shiva.
Well, as you do that, Mary comes over to the rest of you.
Fenna is looking at all the remainders of the battle, wincing, remembering the letter she received.
And I know there was a bit of a time difference between the various people before Mary comes up to us. So I'd just like to say that Taliesin, being next to Cornwall, actually pats him on the shoulder while standing next to him and says, "That is one impressive mentor you've got there."
Isn't it, though?
Well, I'm certainly not going to get on his bad side.
No, that wouldn't be a good idea, I think.
And that's all he says, and then...
What you hear is, quite literally, as you say that that wouldn't be a good idea, Eric leans his head back and releases a long, victorious howl. This isn't like the one Rock of Glendalough had earlier, which was very somber and very beautiful. This is a victory howl. It's very clear. And he clenches his fists, and then he looks at everyone else. Anyone else? Anyone else? And as he doesn't immediately get a reply, he raises his hands over his head and he bellows loudly, "This is our place! You guys live here on sufferance!" And then around the fire and towards Eric walks Ross.
I was gonna say, I'm betting that exclamation draws a chorus of aggression.
It does. People are standing up, crushing beer cans, and more than one shape change is taking place. And Ross holds up a hand towards everyone else and approaches Eric.
I just love the image of, even though he's a big guy, of just a calm but stern-looking, full tattooed, muscular man facing down a 10-foot-tall juggernaut without blinking.
Can we agree? I mean, I know it's not in the picture. Can we agree Ross is wearing suspenders?
No. It's not.
Just a note. I love that Eric is super violent and everything, and when you look at his picture, it's just like Viking hippie.
Viking hippie, yeah.
He's super chill in his picture, but yeah.
Yeah.
He just killed something.
Yeah.
He's happy. He had his breakfast.
Yep.
3 Irish people and a dog.
Yes. Yes. Well, he feels slightly bad about the dog.
Only slightly.
Yeah,
They
but
killed him in Irish.
it was a wiener dog.
It was a wiener dog.
Anyway, he
Put Patty around something.
yeah, he then it would have been a hot dog. Anyway, Ross walks straight up to him, and as the last 3 or 4 steps, he too changes into Krynos, except he keeps growing.
Oh shit.
Whereas Eric is around 9 foot tall.
Okay.
Ross, by the time he stops growing, is nearly 14 feet tall. He is an absolute mountain.
Holy shit.
I think you want to rephrase that, Connell. You don't want to piss off Ross.
He is so tall that he would be seen over the wall by now.
Now I just imagine him walking by the wall on the inside and people looking out at him on the outside like, hello!
And he stares at Eric. Eric, of course, stares back. Eric then... what happens is that they engage in a very, very long, very...
They're doing a face-off.
They're doing a face-off, exactly. And in the end, you can see Eric can't control his temper. He is literally losing control of his temper. It's not that he's backing down, it's that he's literally flying off a handle. And just as he does so, Ross's hand shoots out, grabs Eric around the throat, lifts him off his feet and tosses him about 25 meters backwards through the air, through the ice, and into one of the ponds.
Wet doggy.
And the only sound that comes from this absolute hulking behemoth is down. That draws a lot of cheers. And yes, Gift of the Spriggan is a fucking powerful gift. But it takes a few moments before Eric hauls himself out of the water, but he is now in Hommet.
But he still smells of wet dog.
He still smells of wet dog, but he comes out of the water in Hommet and crawls back ashore, wrings out his hair, glares at the enormous beast, who then promptly changes back into Ross, and proceeds to head over to pick up a beer can somewhere to have a drink. And that's apparently all that comes of it. Then I am going to use the bathroom again, and while I do so, you guys can go and find your future packmate if you so wish.
Which one?
I guess not.
The one that stormed off like an angry teenager.
I'm going to, I think angry teenager is quite fitting for a teenage werewolf.
Yep.
Yeah.
I want to say something. Yes, I want Taliesin to say something to Connell that may annoy Connell, but I have to wait until
He left.
I have to wait until he gets back.
I kinda also do have to pee, so I'll...
Go and pee then, for God's sake.
But John just went to the bathroom. I can't just go in there and pee on her.
Then piss out the window.
Or he could just wait.
No, being patient is stupid.
Yeah, don't say that to Shiva.
So now we know why Ross is the one in charge.
I was going to say, that's basically exactly what Taliesin wants to say to Connell, with a slightly awed look in his face.
Well, if you look in the chat...
And I'm back.
Welcome back.
I know Connell's not here, so I'm going to wait until he gets back, but...
Yeah, well, Taryn did say that, no, I think that's the guy you don't want to piss off, and Connell goes, is that a dare? And Taryn goes, no, I don't want to lose a co-puppy tonight.
Taliesin would see it thusly. If that's what Connell wants to do, then let Connell do it and let him... Let the wound to his ego do him some good, but...
But that's the Ragged Bash who's supposed to do that.
It doesn't matter.
The Sept leader can do just as fine of a job.
That is true.
Down,
puppy, slam!
Yeah, the Sept leader has to embody a lot of everyone in that sense. I'm almost... what's that quote from...
Welcome back.
Ah, there you are.
So...
I can do the line now. Basically, when this is finished and Eric's dredging himself out of the water, and Taliesin, perhaps without thinking through it first, and with an awed sound, kind of half turns to Connell and says, "Your mentor is impressive, but that man right there, that man can be king."
That man is king, Tally.
Connell looks at Taliesin and says, "I'm sure he bleeds like the rest of us."
Never said he didn't. And then Taliesin walks off to join the crowd and maybe to look up, to try and see where the other two have gone.
Oh, right. We should probably find Shiva, yes.
Nah,
This is all so fucked up.
What?
This is all so fucked up.
What is?
This!
Taryn looks confused. What's fucked up?
I think she means this werewolf thing.
Back again.
Welcome back.
Yeah, well, maybe, but now we're in it.
That doesn't make it less fucked up.
The world is fucked up. What's different with this? Let's go find Shiva. Taryn starts going.
Did you see the fight?
I saw the fight.
You're crazy.
So are
Just
you.
like this.
Let's go. Tally, no, not Tally. I can't speak for Tally. Taryn walks in the direction of the angry Irish girl. After she stormed off.
Yep.
I actually think Taliesin would actually like to get distracted from looking after Shiva and notices the woman who plays the instrument so beautifully.
Yes.
Being passionate for the creative arts, he completely forgets the plight of his comrades. Because that's just what a selfless, well-meaning child of Guy would do. Hint sarcasm.
It's because he's an artiste.
Yes. He's an, oh god. Yes. Anyone who calls himself an artiste should probably be taken with a pinch of salt. Anyone who isn't sure, they're more trustworthy. He goes up to so obviously she's not playing at the moment. I'm assuming the music stopped as soon as the fighting began.
Yes.
Go up to
Well,
her.
now that the fight is over, she's picking up a dulcimer out of a box behind her and starts playing that.
Okay. Well, if she's playing, I won't disturb her then. But
No, she doesn't. She seems to be doing that more or less on autopilot.
Okay. And he sort of goes up to her, looks at she's playing, and says, "You're a master of the instruments."
She looks up. She keeps playing, but she looks up at you with a sort of almost like a confused look on her face. And she points to herself with one hand between two beats of the clapper.
I nod with a warm smile on my face.
She shrugs and smiles apologetically, and then she points to her throat.
At first, Taliesin doesn't quite understand, and he's like, "Oh, right, of course." Still, beautiful playing instruments. It's fantastic. It's inspiring.
She does look a little uncertain as she looks around at everyone else. Nobody else seems to have taken much notice of your conversation because, quite frankly, there's been a big fight going on and everybody is busy patting Ross on the shoulder.
Nobody's looking at the mazes.
Nobody's looking at the mazes for a second.
Let the jukebox play.
Exactly. So the jukebox looks a little concerned and worried, and then she smiles. Very, very fleetingly, but she smiles.
Taliesin, despite not knowing why, does get the sense that perhaps she's worried about having this conversation. And so he smiles again, nods politely, and makes his way off again, I think.
As you do that, you see old Nick out of the corner of your eye. He smiles and gives you a thumbs up.
I think, I'll go over to him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi.
Hey there.
Do you need another one? You kind of smoked that. Yeah, you could have smoked that one already. Do you need another one?
No, I put it out until the ceremony was over. I thought it best not to face one of the most important moments of my life completely off my face,
Oh, come on. It's the best time to be off your face. Take it out. Take it out.
Take it off my ear. And well, now we're celebrating. Yes, I hold it out for him to relight.
He lights it up.
And against all his better judgment, and despite swearing to people he wouldn't do it, he takes a puff again.
Yes.
and lives up to his name.
Yes.
And everything starts to become brighter and lovelier.
Or scarier.
Or scarier.
Could be better.
Giant hairy spider people.
Yeah.
No.
They're called Ananasi, and they're really, 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 really freaky.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but it's like
shapeshifters with a blood pool.
Gaian has a sheen.
Yes.
Anyway.
What did you call them again? Ananasian? You might as well call them pineappleians.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's what that is.
Pineappleians, yeah, very funny.
Okay, I think we're still missing Hannes had to go off to do something, which, by the way,
Yep.
went out there.
Well,
Okay,
you were
speak of the devil, and he shall appear.
Well,
Yep,
you were about
that's
to. You were about to say something to old Nick, weren't you? Or
Oh, yeah,
did I get that wrong?
No, it's fine. I mean, I felt maybe I should let other people speak for a bit, but
No, speak with Nick. Go ahead.
Okay.
I love Nick.
Okay. Look, I know you don't. I know it's not always easy talking about this, but I assume what just happened is, if not normal, but it's not something we can do anything much about at the moment, is it?
Oh, that's unfortunately that's normal.
Well,
yeah, nobody wants to fight you and me.
no, I suppose that's the key, isn't it? We need to make it so that we appear harmless.
Nah, they just call us cowards.
They can call it whatever they like. We'll do our part. I mean, for goodness sake.
You have such a good attitude. I don't even have to teach you that.
Well, I've got to. That's what happens when you have bad things happen to you in your life. You either got to start looking at things a little bit more evenly, or you just end up bitter.
That's true. That's a very good point.
And I probably take notice of the fact that he says that very lucidly.
Yeah.
It's like, but anyway, we shan't talk about that. And what's the policy on letting new blood and pups sing a bit?
I think they're going to love you for it. What do you want to sing?
I've got I only know one Irish folk song, but, well, considering who we are...
You know some Welsh ones? Don't you know some Welsh ones?
I know a couple, yes.
What are they called?
Oh, my favourite one, it's got a Welsh name, but
Try asking Liffy. She knows pretty much every song I've ever heard of.
Liffy's the one with the instruments, right?
Yep.
She
Don't
seems
expect
very
her. Don't expect her to answer. She can't.
No, I gathered. She seems very nice. She seemed a bit worried about talking to me, though.
Yeah, she's mates.
And that is...
Oh, right. Yeah, I gotta remember, you knew.
Yes. Yes.
Literally the worst.
He's alright.
By the way, Liffy's wolf name, that's just mean.
It is.
Yeah. It's mega mean. Can't sing, that's just mean.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be malicious, it's stating the fact she cannot sing.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it would be kind of more mean if she had a voice.
Yes.
Yes.
But she is a matis, right? I mean, unless she really marks herself out, she's liable to have a shit name.
Yeah, so regarding that, let's return to what is a matis in character.
Yeah.
You see, when he has this look on his face. How am I going to go about explaining this?
When a man and a woman.
Oh.
And then Taliesin
This is some good shit.
Yes, at which point Taliesin says... If this
Anyway,
is
when
if
a
this-
mummy... No. When a mummy werewolf and a daddy werewolf meet each other and they like each other way too much, that's a very bad thing. Very bad. They're
Right.
not allowed to.
So, no...
Because you see, humpy bonky between two werewolves leads to a matis, or as the Fenna tend to call them, a mule. Because they're sterile and stuff. Oh, I need to remember where I bought this shit. This is really good.
Taliesin doesn't say what he thinks, and he's glad he does, because if he had, he'd been very ashamed of himself for thinking it. He thinks, I'm not entirely sure you actually bought that anywhere.
The old dick is totally deflecting. He's like being a shit father. He's like, yeah, I'm not gonna talk to you about this. Let's rub this off on someone else.
No, he does after a moment, he goes into the whole, yes, I'm gonna, yes. So, you take a look. She's a very, very, very lovely lass, isn't she? She's very, very pretty, and yes, she's also a werewolf, so it doesn't matter how pretty she is, you can never
Despite the fact that she's sterile and it wouldn't matter, I suppose.
It doesn't matter. It's the it's the royalty of it. It's the principle. You're just not supposed to.
I lean into him at the risk of being swamped by foul smell and the smell of weed smoke, and he just says, "Between you and me, I think that sounds very, very stupid."
He looks very, very sad, and then he puts a hand on your shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
and then a hand on your other shoulder, and he takes a moment to really look into your eyes, and then in a very it's a very caring, almost fatherly way. He actually, he pats your cheeks, in this, and his brow furrows, and he says, "It often is, but not always. You see," and he doesn't sound affected at all.
It's turned into a downer now.
Not even. He looks completely level-headed and sounds totally lucid. He says, "See, the reason why mates are treated badly by some tribes is because this is complicated. There is such a thing as good and evil in this world. Real, tangible good and evil. We call that evil the worm. Not as in crawling through the ground, as in dragon. That kind of worm. And mates are born with a little bit of that in them. All of them are. Not all of them ever succumb to it. Most of them, I guess, don't. At least, I'd say at least half of them don't. I don't know how many, I don't know how few, it doesn't matter. I will not hold someone's birth against them, he says. I will hold their actions against them, and Liffey is a good girl. The Fenna don't see it that way. They think that she's a danger because of who she is. They also think that she cannot be punished by death for who she is, but they will never trust her and they will never treat her right. The same thing goes for the poor sap Gorman over there by the fountain, he says. The difference between Liffey and Gorman is Gorman got angry about it, Liffey got sad. That's the difference.
Sounds... that is grim.
It is. Look at this place, he says, and just turns you around to look at everyone there and the bonfire and everything. He says, this place is a cairn. That's what we call it. There aren't enough left of them in the world. There used to be 100 times as many as there are now, thousands of years ago. But one by one, we've lost them. They've become forgotten, or the enemies we have acquired over the years, like creatures who serve the worm that I spoke of before, will try to destroy them, or pervert them, or use them for their own evil ends. There aren't enough left of us in the world to stop the worm, or at least so a lot of people think. And because of that, they can't afford to turn away someone like Liffey or someone like Gorman. They need every set of claws they can get because we're at war and we're losing. We need to defend this place. It's all we have left in Dublin. And I don't think it's right that just because Liffey was born, just because Gorman was born, that they get treated like shit. But we cannot afford to let the worm in, because there aren't enough places like this left. Think about that one. And here, when you've thought about that, he says, and takes your hand and puts a new joint in it. Lighter. When you've thought about it for a while, try to think of something nicer. And then he pats you on the cheek again, smiles, that friendly, warm, Granddaddy Lee smile, and he walks away.
Taliesin stands there for a while and really does reflect on many things. He reflects on the knowledge of absolute good and evil. He reflects on the natural and the unnatural unfairness of being treated how you are just because of who you are. He reflects on how much effort and how much care a man like Peacenik has to go through to keep up such a wonderfully, blissfully harmless persona and have such amazing insight concealed under that. And to be able to maintain that kind of, not facade, but certainly...
duality?
Yes, is something in his own way that Taliesin finds very inspiring. And then, with one joint lit in one hand and one curled up into his other, takes a very deep breath through his nostrils, nods sharply, tucks the unlit joint behind the same ear he tucked the first one, smokes the first one, and decides, if we're going to go out, let's give him some hope and go out with a bang. And decides to go over to Liffey again and suggest maybe he could try singing a nice little Welsh folk song for everyone.
She looks up when you suggest this, smiles, and takes out the harp instead. She puts the dulcimer away, takes out the harp. This is the fourth instrument you've seen her play. And she strums it, and she begins to play it perfectly. So you can sing. And while you do that, we should pop over to the others.
Yes.
Why do I just see her with a, just a little belt pouch, but it's actually a bag of holding?